I'm gonna call this thing to
Pretty
order.
much guaranteed.
We've been gaveled.
Okay, let's have a roll call.
Beckwith,
Here.
Caldwell,
Here.
Leal,
Here.
Parkabisi,
Here.
Cozzini,
Here.
Nimi, Sheldon.
Here.
We have a complete quorum.
Cool. All right, pledge.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Warren Newport Public Library District provides the community with access to information, kindles the imagination of children and adults, and supports lifelong learning.
Just a brief reminder, down this aisle, to the first left is the vending area. Then we have the washrooms and the exit area. In case of an emergency, please leave space so the paramedics can move around. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Okay, first item is the consent agenda. Anyone have anything they want to remove? Anyone want to make a motion then?
I move we approve the consent agenda items A through F.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstain. Okay. My president's report is on page 15. One thing I want to add to that is just what a great event Bikers for Books was. It was super fun, and I have to say, I noticed in your report that last I heard what the amount was, it was lower than that, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, keeps tripping
It was really fun, and thank you to Sue and to Brian and everybody else. who did
Look
that.
forward to the next one.
We're starting now, it's an annual event. It was super fun.
It was very well organized. It
Mhm.
was fun to see the bikers and the people who you wouldn't expect to be bikers are bikers. And
Yeah, and the kids
What about
singing, it was fun. It was fun. I put some money in theirs, they had a little scholarship bucket there, so, since they sang for free, so. Anyone else have a report? No? Okay, any correspondence? Oh. Let's see, this is. Oh. This is a sympathy card. I mean, nothing. Okay. Public comment? No comment? Okay. Committee reports, questions, comments? Boy.
Wait, Becca, what did you just say?
I said, are there any questions or comments about the reports of committees?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anything about the executive director's report, questions or comments? This is going unbelievably fast.
It's not a small packet. I mean,
5
there
minutes.
was not a lot
That
of.
was a fabulous report.
It was a fabulous report. I want to know what the Facebook Live event is this year.
Oh, so this is an idea. This is yet to be scheduled, but yeah, we experimented a little bit with Facebook Live. We've done it a few times when we had the unofficial opening of the point. We did a little Facebook Live video. When we were collaborating with the Park District for the Go Dirty campaign, we did a video of us walking. We took a lunch. We walked around the block to promote that. So it's just, I think it's a good way to reach users. So my idea is, I've done this Donuts with the Director event, which is here in the library, but the Facebook Live event would give patrons the ability to go on Facebook and interact with me, like maybe after hours if they can't make it to the library. So this is kind of an experiment to see if anyone wants to ask me any questions about the library or, yeah, so that's the idea.
Any other questions?
did we, because the use of the expendable trust fund is under Finance Committee of the Whole. Do we discuss that now or later in the agenda?
I'm sorry, would you repeat your question?
The use of the expendable trust fund, that's under Finance Committee of the Whole. Is that under committee reports? Do we discuss that now or later or?
We're putting it on the committee of the whole for October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I understand.
because we need you to drive it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just to remind everybody, for Committee of the Whole, I want you to think about, it doesn't matter to me what everybody decides, I just want everybody to address it and decide what we wanna do about it, and that is if we're going to be using, the funds to raise other funds, so.
I think maybe you were asking if it was on this agenda, because we had talked about it, and it was kind of in
Yeah,
a
it's
for
in-
Ryan and I. And just to add, if you were asking this question, what we decided was that since we had 1059 on here for the first time, and we had 3060 that generated a lot of discussion at committee of the whole, and some people were missing that night, we decided that we thought that would be pretty time consuming, and so we pushed it to the next committee of the whole.
Okay.
Okay, Stratton.
Yeah, this was, basically this was kind of put on the agenda, well, I don't know if this was done before or after the project is complete. It's very clear that you can, I think they did a nice job, I think the spots are very well marked and clear, so I'm satisfied with it, it didn't cost a great deal of money. So, and feedback's been positive.
I noticed there are arrows now, and I have been driving the wrong direction in one all these years. Didn't even know.
So, I don't have anything else to add, any questions, or?
Nothing else? All right, new business. First, we have the budget and appropriation. Anyone want to make a motion on that, please? Page 28.
Move to accept ordinance 2016-2017-5 annual budget appropriation.
Second that.
Discussion? Okay, let's have a roll call, please.
Neil?
Yeah.
Nay, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sheldon?
Aye.
Nimi?
Aye.
Caldwell?
Aye.
Cotsini?
Aye.
Farkapisi? Aye. Beckwith?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, policy 1059 is next, page 35. So we've got two versions in here. One is with track changes, one is a clean version. They are the concepts that were agreed on at September committee of the whole, but I know a couple people were missing. I can't even remember who they were at the moment, but since then Nancy has kind of fine-tuned our grammar and wording, but not changed any concepts that were agreed upon at September CW. Anyone want to make a motion on this one?
I move that we accept policy 1059 as presented.
I'll second that. Discussion?
Yes, please. Well, let's just start with Article 1. I'm having an issue with permanent.
Yeah, I think we could let that go. I'd be okay letting that word go. What do others think about that?
I agree, because, without the word permanent, it implies it is permanent.
Yeah, and even if you want to change it, it'll be a lot of discussion. It doesn't really matter if the word's in there or not. You still have the power to change it. So I don't see any problem taking it out.
Unless the word temporary is there or ad hoc,
I think
it
that's-
lends it to believe that it's a regular committee.
Yeah, one
It
would
is, yeah.
assume.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
Rather than Article 2, rather than future, I would prefer WNPLD, Development Director.
I like that change as well. What do other people think?
Doesn't really change the meaning at all.
Yeah. One thing it does, though, it makes it so you won't have to go back and edit it if someone is put into that
Yes.
position, so, okay?
Okay. 3.02. I think useful would be preferable to necessary at the end of the first sentence.
I like it as necessary, actually, because useful is a little too broad. Participation of staff is always useful. The question is, when is it useful and necessary?
Okay. Any thoughts on any term that would be somewhere in between? Something a little bit less than necessary, but more than useful.
Well, it's necessary at the discretion of the director.
I see. Necessary is defined by.
By the director, yes.
Okay.
And I pretty much think if it's necessary, it's useful. I mean, if it's necessary, it's because it's
Yeah.
useful.
Right, yeah, just I was in favor of something not as strong as necessary. George has come down,
Can I say,
preferring
Can we just-
necessary.
Instead of say additional WMPLD staff will be asked to be active with the WDC as needed.
That's the same thing. What about at the discretion of the director?
Is it at the, okay, obviously staff cannot do anything on library time without the approval of the director. If you didn't want them, they could conceively do it on their own time still, but that gets real
Well,
iffy.
yeah, I mean, that's a,
So, in one sense,
That's a
it
bigger
is
thing.
at the discretion of the director whether we say so or not.
can I see who's comfortable, who would like to leave it as the word necessary?
I don't really have,
Was that a yes?
Yes.
I would too. Who else? 4.
I don't feel strongly one way or the other.
Okay.
Okay.
Bob, do you have an opinion? You're not raising your hand.
No, I have no opinion.
Okay, 4 of us. Let's
All right.
leave that as it is. And then you had the last one after that?
Yeah, I wouldn't consider it a change of personnel within the board. I think membership would be a better word there.
What do people think about that? I'm fine with that change.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're not personnel. We're not paying them.
Right. Okay. So, let's see, who made the motion? Do you want
I
to?
did, I will amend it. I move that I rescind my earlier motion and move that we adopt policy 1059 with the 3 alterations that were discussed.
I will second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Let's have a roll call since this
Yeah.
is a brand new policy, could we?
Farkapisi,
Aye.
Deal,
Abstain.
Cozzini,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Nimi,
Aye.
Sheldon, Beckwith.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, next is page 39, 3060. So, for those who weren't at committee of the whole, this also had, the primary change to this was section 3.09, which basically was rewritten by the library attorney. It tells that it's important for someone to realize that if we discuss revocation of privileges, we cannot go to closed session to do that. This was prompted by the mother that came a few months ago, if you recall. And there were concerns about even if we had discussed that, we really couldn't protect that child's identity. And what would that, could we go to exec session? And the answer is no, we cannot. So that's what 3.09 is about. And then we had, that was sort of there was not much disagreement, none on that one. But then we had a lot of discussion about the last bullet point in section 3.01.
summarize that. Yeah, we have those who think there shouldn't be any adults in Coco's Cove or the Point at all. We have those who think that adults should be able to sit down in Coco's Cove and look at picture books, whether they have their kids with them or not.
Yeah.
And everything in between.
We looked at trying to change those words, use of seating and some other things. There was some feeling that we need to give staff something to go on if they do need to ask someone to leave that room who's clearly not there for maybe the right reason. So it was kind of a fine line. What would you like to add to this?
Well, I just want to say I asked some staff about this policy and their opinion on adding this language because, as you know, when you look at those specific policies for, say, the Ball to the Point, that language is already in there in a separate policy. But the staff that I spoke with, they indicated that this is very useful for them to have it in 3060 because even if you had some of the separate point policy or ball policy, having it here just kind of reinforces the fact that it really is a library rule. They see that, oh, you know, it's under the same, you know, area as, you know, I can't visit without wearing a shirt or shoes. So it gives that extra teeth, and it really, staff really feels it's helpful to them to do their jobs and enforce the policy.
Other thoughts?
I think as long as it's at the discretion of the staff, if there's nobody else using Coco's Cove and a parent goes in to try and find alphabet books and they sit there and they're going to books and nobody else is in there, the staff doesn't have to, they're not there to police everything, but they're there, they have something to back them up as needed, which is our job to do for them.
Anyone else?
My assumption is that our staff is not a group of robots policing people. They're human beings that make rational choices. That's
Yeah.
intelligent actors in the system. We have very limited seating in some of these areas, particularly in Coco's Cove. So having the policy here to enable staff to go in and say, hey, I need you to move, their families that need to sit down, is helpful.
I think we're all in agreement.
Okay. I can't remember, do we have a motion on this? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, does anyone want to make a motion then with that in mind?
I'll go ahead and move that policy 3060 be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
I think let's have a roll call for this one too, Kim.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Cozzini,
Aye.
Parkapisi,
Aye.
Sheldon,
I
Nimi,
Aye.
Deal,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, what's next? Friends Proclamation, page 51. What?
Nothing. Is there, are you gonna read down?
No, I'm not gonna read it.
Can I say something?
Please.
So the Friends are not meeting this month for a variety of reasons. So our plan is to create a nice, assuming the board passes this, which I strongly encourage you to do because the Friends do so much for us, to print up a nice pretty resolution that Joe, you and Nancy can sign before their October Friends meeting. We can present it there at the meeting. And maybe do you know, if you can attend or other board members can attend. If not, we could even arrange a ceremony to present it and do a photo, maybe put it in a San angle, something like that, or piece on the website.
Right. Sounds great. They do so much for the library.
They're our best friends.
Okay.
I will move that we adopt resolution 2016-2017-1, National Friends of Library Week 2016 proclamation.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? Compliments, kudos? We love
We love our
We love our
friends.
friends.
Yeah, we do. All right, let's have a roll call on this, please.
Sheldon,
I
Deal,
Aye.
Parkapisi,
Aye.
Nimi,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Cozzini,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, new and notable.
Okay, so you should all have a handout in front of you. If you don't, I have extras. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about something that's new and notable. Briefly, lynda.com. This is something that a lot of people really wanted, including Madam President to my left. And Adult Services, they did a great favor because they thought it would be useful for the board to see what's the difference between Gale Courses and lynda.com, because you might have noticed that we have this service called Gale Courses. And this is a nice kind of breakdown of the differences. I think the big takeaway, I think, between Gale and lynda.com, lynda.com is nice because you can jump into something, whereas Gale Courses, it's a little, these are 6-week courses beginning in a specific schedule. So lynda.com, I think, is, they're completely different, but I think lynda.com is more practical to like the modern 21st century library user, where they're busy people and they can jump on here, and it has a variety of topics, 5,000 different courses. So if you go through our website, you can register, and there are a lot of different things you can do. There are different facets on the left, and you can decide, okay, I've got like less than an hour, so I want a course that's less than an hour, and you can narrow it down as an example. You can look at the courses or the instructors and see what their background is. Like, does this person really know what they're doing? And their little bios on the instructors. It's a really, really great product that we're going to use for staff training, that patrons are very excited about. People have been asking us about this for a long time. And the good news is, when we did the budget, I said to Noreen, I said to the Adult Services team, listen, we gotta cut something to offer lynda.com. So I hate to do it, but let's cut Gale Courses. So it was on the chopping block, but I talked to the Gale representative, and we got to keep it for no additional charge because they didn't want us to get rid of it. So we essentially negotiated to keep both for no Gale's for free. I mean, obviously it's not really free because we pay for other databases to them, so it's bundled, but they could have said, we're just gonna take this away from you, and they didn't. So yeah, we're the best of both worlds.
That's
Can you
very
give me
cool.
an example of one of the courses?
Oh, there are a
I
lot of
started
them.
one this week on WordPress. And it's a 5-hour class, and you register with your library card. And what I liked about it was you can stop at any time and it keeps your spot, so you can return to it when you have time to work on it again. So, and it was it's a video, and it's one person, and of course it's got a lot of screenshots. He's doing things on the computer to show you how to move things around the screen and so on. And it was broken down into chapters. WordPress, it's for making a website.
And I can tell you, Adobe has a great many courses on there. It's something that I've worked with for some time.
To better learn Adobe.
If you want to learn Photoshop, if you want to learn Muse or any of our other technologies. It's a very powerful and useful tool to have.
So as I told, unfortunately, no one from the Adult Services team could be here tonight, and maybe that's a good thing, because as we were talking, we could have done a demo and it could have lasted for 2 hours because there's a lot to it. So I basically just encourage you to dive in, get registered, and it's pretty intuitive. I don't think it is a challenge to learn how to use it. If you are having issues, you can always come to the library and get help. So.
It's something, like every month, the circulation statistics are down. Can we add some electronic things to that list so we can see how patrons are using the modern day library?
Yeah, it's a very timely comment, because Noreen and I have been talking about this, about looking at what we're allocating in our collection to the physical collection versus electronic. Because if you look at the director's report, not that it gets into great details, but you see the electronic resources keep going up, and then something like CDs, they're dwindling. Even things like video games, which I remember when libraries first started getting those were like really hot items, but that's gone down quite a
Well,
bit.
the bottom line is better than negatives every
Yeah.
month, so.
Absolutely.
But we know people are still using
Years.
the library.
Right. Yeah. So I think we can. I know we produce those reports. Sandy Beta has great detailed reports on the various services. So it's something we could look at incorporating. I think that I think the challenge is that we don't want to overwhelm you with information, but we have it.
One of the things is under e-media, we've just been documenting my meeting law, and I was doing research to it today and realized that we have not been adding Hoopla and Zenio to those. So we've had some of those since 2014, so we need to probably change that, and that would impact the statistics, and we should put those right on that page for you. So we're gonna look at that when I talk to my.
And we could sunset some of that stuff probably. We are happy already on the list.
It's possible, sure.
There's data for Dale courses too.
Yeah, the challenge with all of these different services is they all collect the data differently, and the statistics, you can't compare apples to apples. I know that state library systems kind of struggle with how to collect this data from the libraries and report it. So, but yeah, the data is certainly there in silos. We can look at it in
It
silos.
doesn't have to be detailed, we don't need to
You know,
know
one of the
what
things
courses, just how
we
many.
had talked about doing in the future, and maybe now is the future, was to have some people from the board go over the director's report and see, maybe we could streamline it a little bit and make it less cumbersome. What are we using, what are we not using?
You mean the
Because this is a little shorter than I think Steve's was,
Yeah.
but, still, do we want to, are we using all of the stuff on here, or is there something else we can add like that? Well, I don't want to add more things without eliminating other things,
Right.
but.
you can sunset some stuff.
Even if we are not using all of this information, definitely not on a regular basis, I sort of like this is going to be part of
The history
the
of the library.
archives. And I rather like the idea that if somebody does want it in the future, that it's there.
Well, I'd say until we get like a pattern of 0, 0, 0s, we should still have. just-
Oh, yes.
But if we get multiple months of zeros, then we're done with it, I would assume.
Yeah. If we aren't, we maybe should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is something that was revised, maybe it was over a year ago, where this report was revised. Maybe it's time to have a discussion again, even though it wasn't, maybe just over a year ago. I think the big challenge is to decide what statistics, for me and my staff, what statistics should we present to the board? Like what's useful to you without overwhelming you with numbers? And
Well,
I think that's the big challenge for
I
us.
think this is, I like looking at this because it gives you kind of a snapshot of what's going on.
Mhm.
It's just gotten a little disheartening to see that our circulation's gone down, but it really hasn't, I don't think. I mean, we're just using new things in a different way, and this has not changed to show that.
Well, our circulation has gone down, but circulation is
But
a
our
small
usage
portion.
hasn't.
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
a small portion of what you see in a modern library. And this is something that we have touched on in the past, is how do we capture the new things that we do? Meeting use, how do we capture program usage? The ways that we reach out to the community and the ways the community truly uses the library today, as opposed to how many books we've sent out.
Right.
And we do a great job of counting how many books and how many physical objects we've checked out, but a very poor job, I think, of cataloging these newer features like lynda.com, because it brings full circle. We need to know how these are being used so that we can help inform future budget discussions, future planning discussions on how to best serve our library and our patrons.
And how to equate, like when I think just what I've done in the brief time that I've signed up for this class, like how do you equate that? I've probably gone on there 3 times to answer different questions, so is each one of those like a cert, or is it just that I signed up for the class and that's a one-time use? I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but it's,
Well, probably depends how they report it, how they
Right.
report it.
it says that your access to it does not ever expires. Am I right about that? You remember that correctly?
To that course?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, Joe.
Okay, I thought that's what it said, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, one of the things, there's this thing that PLA came out with about a year ago called Project Outcome, and it's about moving the libraries from outputs to outcomes. So for example, with summer reading, you have X number of students that participate in summer reading. Well, that's great, but that's just a number. That's just an output. It doesn't talk about the outcome. How many of those students participating in summer reading are able to maintain their reading scores or even improve on them? And that's something that we're working on. We're doing a trial version of that in youth services right now, as a way to measure what we're actually getting done. And because the numbers, I think really is about outcomes. We could do, and we want to continue to do programs for youth, but youth services could put on 5 programs a day, and we'd probably fill them up, and the numbers would be crazy. But what's the outcome? Our homebound delivery service. I don't know what the latest numbers are. It's a pretty small number, but think about the outcome of those visits to those homebound patrons. It's such a powerful service. So numbers don't really tell you the whole story.
Well, in other schools, God, maybe there's one. Who's the school liaison?
Jane Freeze?
Yeah, Jane.
Yeah.
She would give the schools the kids that finish the reading club, and then the schools can track that with their testing and the reading counts, and I know they do that. So
Yeah.
they're doing it that way, maybe we need to do it this way if you want that.
Yeah. Sure.
And they may not, couldn't give us students' names on what their scores were, but they could say the average, for
Right.
the ones who participated was this, or the average for the ones who didn't.
And the schools are set up for all that data, when they spit that out daily. So they went through that.
Okay, anything else?
Very cool.
Yeah, I wanna try it. I have to finish my Excel course.
So glad we got it.
So can we look forward to a change in the statistics, or do we need to talk about that at another meeting?
Why don't we get a recommendation from them?
I don't want
What-
to drop it, is what I'm bringing.
So
What?
so specifically, are you wanting just more information about electronic resources
How
in
about
general?
the e-media, yeah.
Okay.
And you know what, I'm not definite, look into it, and if it's too cumbersome, or,
I don't,
you got a better idea, or
I mean,
whatever,
we-
just
we
a starting point.
we have the reports. It's just a matter of making it into, I think, a format that is easy to
Well, we
digest,
can-
right?
We can sit down and, as
Yeah.
a meeting with library services tomorrow, we're gonna talk about a lot of this, and we can talk about this because the data is there, how many Gale sessions, how many lynda.com sessions, how many are unique patrons, how many, those kinds of things. But I think it's like 2 pages long, so we'll look at it and look at what are the things we think you would
The
want, and we
biggies,
can
yeah.
run that by you and see if that gives you enough. Because there's a lot of stuff on there that probably doesn't mean anything to you.
And I
but-
think the board should evolve with that information. rather than-
Sure.
Is that
That's
something
great.
you would
Great
want
feedback.
monthly or quarterly?
Well, I'm thinking it should be in the board packet and the director's report, but it's up to you. I don't know what that looks for you, how much labor intensive it is.
Yeah.
I would imagine it would be somewhat based upon how cumbersome or easy it is to gather the data through
Right.
The data on that comes in a little bit late. Right?
all the.
In other words, we can get it in. We'll
Yeah.
be able to work it. Let me
Okay.
play around with it with staff and.
Well, and that's just it. So maybe at a committee of the whole, maybe not the next one, the next one,
I was thinking
you
maybe
report back,
November.
or
Sure, yeah.
just to keep it
I'll put it on
going.
for November.
Good suggestion. My son's been out to get a couple of textbooks off the hoop one.
Awesome.
Saving some big bucks there.
That's great.
Not the technical textbooks, but when they have to read.
General, yeah.
That's the first place he goes, because the price is right.
Yeah, really. I sent it, it has a whole
Okay.
box of
All right,
stuff.
and since I guess we're moving on to that then, so any other things for next committee of the whole or next month's regular meeting that's not on this list already? Nothing? Okay.
It's gonna be a long meeting too, because the plan is to have, Chris McClure come and do the presentation of the audit, so
All
it's
right.
probably fine that
Mhm.
what we have on this agenda.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably true.
So is he gonna send me that thing he wants, you know, local statements and I sign?
Should, yeah.
Okay, public forum, wanna say anything, Maureen? Okay, just, I had lost track of this, but our next board meeting is on a Monday, not the Tuesday. And, committee of the whole on the 4th. Are we doing something for Friends of the Library Week other than the park proclamation?
I don't look at anything in
All right.
particular.
All right. You have a lot of people going to ILA.
I know there are at least 3 of us going. So there are two presentations that we're doing. We're doing a presentation on, it's special service, Marion, can you help me, that's a James.
Smile.
Smile, yeah.
It's our services, this special population, the young adults who are, have some handicaps. And so they're gonna talk about what our programs are that we've done.
Yeah, and then I'm actually doing a presentation with Lauren Chilvers talking about fundraising. So one of the things I wanted to see at ILA was, libraries I think really can focus on fundraising so I was kind of thinking when we presented it, we might get paired with some other people to talk about it, but, so we're gonna talk about fundraising. And hopefully it'll be more of a discussion, because we clearly, we've had some successes, but we're not experts. I don't think anyone in the library world really is, so it should be good.
Is everyone on the United for Libraries listserv where you get the notifications of different webinars and so on? Did anyone else get that this week? I'll try to mention it.
I get some from it.
I bet, in fact, after we adjourn, I'll look on my phone and look for it, because I got one that was about that for trustees. That was to understand how friends and foundations groups can relate to one another.
I think specifically though that and it may be worth attending. I think that specifically though, libraries that have a friends group and a foundation and they want to merge them.
Right, I understand that, but I think just based on the meetings I've attended with the friends, this is different, and that when we had all those people here,
Mhm.
there's a vocabulary to it that even if we aren't doing that exact thing, it might be worth listening to, I thought.
Okay.
So I'll forward it to everybody tomorrow, in case anyone's interested. Okay, anyone wanna have any other announcements? Anyone want to move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain. 38.
Meeting 30 minutes.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I signed up for it.